Hi.
You don't know me, but I know you. Let's play a game.
Yeah, sure, I guess.
I'm going to give you 1 hour to arrange these pedals into a functioning pedal board.
Yeah, you see, the problem with that is I just don't really know, like, what order the pedals go in, like, what they do exactly.
I don't either, that's why I'm asking you.
Oh. Can you let me out of your basement, then? Hello, Internet. My name is Tesler-Mabé, and the title of this video is not clickbait. Safari Audio, which is one of my favorite plugin brands currently out there, has made a very intriguing new tool that we're going to explore today. The Meaw Chain is an AI plugin that works directly in your DAW, which can analyze your audio and create an effect chain depending on whatever prompt you give it. Now, I know AI is a pretty touchy subject in the arts for good reason, I think. I do have very strong opinions on the net negative impact generative AI is having and will increasingly have on artistic industries, especially when it comes to circumventing intellectual property laws to create programs that allow people to create art that sources the work of other people who never get their consent to have their work used to feed an AI program, who now are not getting hired because companies trying to trim fat can save money by not hiring actual artists and use a program that is super destructive to the environment and currently unregulated, so no one has to legally disclose that their content was generated by AI, and therefore people can do some sinister stuff. This is not that. I do think there's a place for AI tools that help artists, and maybe most importantly to me, lower the barrier to entry for learning certain skills that in the past would have required a lot of money and connections to learn. Figuring out how effects work and interact with each other is a really essential and awesome skill to have, whether you're just trying to build a pedal board or produce music. And I think the Meaw Assist could genuinely be an awesome tool to help someone experientially learn how audio works and how audio flows. You can use the Meaw Chain with all of your plugins from any brand, but I'm going to exclusively use only Safari effects and Safari pedals because I find their stuff to be really cool. Alright, let's see what this Meaw Chain does. First I'll show you the clean guitar I recorded from my Squier Cabronita baritone guitar into the Safari Audio Twin Panda. It's basically just a twin reverb, I'm sure you could guess that. And yeah, I'll play it for you, and I will also feed that audio into the Meaw Chain at the same time. Technically, you don't have to do that. You can just give a prompt and it'll come up with a chain, but obviously it will give a much more accurate chain if it can hear what you're doing and gauge the dynamics of what you're doing. So I'll hit record on that. Give this a serious cat listen. What do you want to know? So many things. Give me a sinister 60s garage rock vibe. Maybe like the Sonics? Make sure to say please. See what the cat comes up with. It's pretty sinister. So the cat set up a chain for that sinister garage sound. It uses aggressive fuzz, some warbly tape character, and a tight vintage reverb. Give it a listen. Let's go through each part of the chain one by one to really see what everything is doing. Okay, so with everything bypassed except for the Cobra fuzz pre-boost, you can hear that really boosts the signal before it goes through, I'm guessing, the fuzz stage of the effect. Tone obviously is going to shape the EQ to an extent. Yeah, I liked where it was, kind of not too hot on the top end. Yeah, I like what we're doing so far. I think the Safari Audio Cobra fuzz is kind of in the tradition of a big muff, but it has snakes on it, so. And then we've got the Cassette Bunny. This is a really cool plugin. Obviously it's adding some drive, but it's adding some tape wobble, so a little bit of that warble pitch variation. Like, that's a little intense. I liked where it was down here. I like the compression being added as well. Yeah, so now we've got the flamingo verb. We've got a high and low pass, which is kind of a fun way to be very specific about the frequencies you're letting through. Pre-delay changes how big the room feels. Yeah, usually reverb you want at the end of the chain because it's essentially washing everything out. Gives a feeling of a certain type of room a lot of the time, right? Like it changes what kind of room it feels like you're in. Are you in a cathedral? Are you on stage? Are you in a small room? Etc, etc. Let's try another one. Okay, give me a 70s glam rock, shiny, sparkly arena tone. Bowie, Mick Ronson. See what happens. Okay, so we've got the twin panda running into another twin panda, which is not necessarily a problem. This one seems to be providing more of the gain, because obviously it's pretty clean just coming through this first twin panda that I ran everything through. Let's just hear how this sounds. That's cool. So I replaced the chain with a new one for that 70s glam rock sound. You have a condenser amp for clarity. So that's kind of what this second amp is doing. Just condensing things more, because every time you gain stage tone, it gets more and more condensed. I do want it to be a little more saturated. Please. All right, saturated Glam Arena. Let's see what that does. Push the amplifier gain up, added drive to the EQ for more saturation. It should be crunchier now. Let's find out if it is. I'd say it is. I took off the reverb. As we were saying, this amp is what is providing the drive, mostly. It's shaping the tone a bit as well. I mean, not too much. The EQ here is just everything set to noon, so obviously that's not doing too much to shape the tone beyond what the amp naturally provides, because obviously amps always have their own character. Bright switch isn't on. Let's hear what it sounds like if it is on. Now let's turn it off again. So just like a slight EQing difference, but I think I like it off. Jumping to the Falcon Air EQ. This is a pretty cool one. And it's adding some gain, specifically I think on the top end of the spectrum, which is kind of an interesting thing, where it's not just straight up gain across the entire signal. It's predominantly targeting certain EQ frequencies. To my ear, really pushing stuff in this area has kind of a more modern sound. Like that is not something I associate with the 70s, for instance. So if I go back to the Falcon Air EQ and I really push the gain, I mean, this is all inherently kind of that upper end of the spectrum, but especially, anywhere from here to here, to me, it immediately sounds more modern. So maybe to bring it back to the 70s, let's bring it back a little bit. Now the de-esser is interesting because usually that's more so something you want to throw on vocals to clean things up so you don't get this. When you put it on guitar, kind of cleans up some of the harshness of pick attack, even like the hand movement on the strings, which of course becomes more pronounced with the overdrive really turned up. Now last and not least, really like this guy, based around some of those 60s, 70s era reverb amps. Very boingy and springy sounding. Immediately you can hear it just drenches the tone in this really nice classic sounding reverb. Obviously this is just controlling how wet the signal is. Or reverb at the end makes a lot of sense. You're dousing everything in reverb at the end. If I were to change this around, put the reverb at the front, very different kind of sound. Right, like very lo-fi sounding, like kind of like a lo-fi recording where everything is distorting. It's very different, right? Because if you put the reverb at the front, then everything is getting distorted, including the reverb, including the tone of the room. So putting the reverb at the end, yeah, that's really gonna be the more typical choice. Now let's try something crazy and see how the Meaw chain does. Hobbling, gnome, / troll, ambling through a mystical swamp forest. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let's see what it comes up with. I'm curious. Swamp Trog vibe. I've updated the chain to give you that mystical swamp atmosphere. It features a wobbly tape degradation, chorus echo for space, and pitch shifted tremolo heavy shimmer for that ambling troll movement. Okay, let's see how this sounds. I see it. It's like a cool troll ambling in a very cool way through a forest. Oh, and another thing, I think this plugin works really well when you specify the BPM of the project or the part. So then it can, slow down the tremolo to better match your tempo, which is the slowest setting available. Does that feel right for our swamp troll? Let's find out. I think so. Yeah, again, it makes sense to put the cassette bunny plugin at the front of the chain. It's shaping the tone, it's driving the tone. Driving compression at the front, typically a good move, right? And adding a bit of wobble, inherently we've got like a troll that's kind of like walking in a weird way, not a regular walk. This is an ambling troll walk, very different. Now let's get into that Fox Echo chorus, which I think is kind of based around like a Roland space echo or like an echoplex kind of thing. It always works well to put your modulation after driving and compressing the tone because it just gives you a much cleaner, controlled kind of effect, right? You have your chorus or phaser or flanger or whatever, and then you've got your delay right after, so it's repeating the affected colored signal. So I'm guessing that it's running through this plugin as it would on the real device. Chorus first, then echo, and then this S on S, it's like a specific type of echo where I think you're kind of smearing the sound around a little bit. Yeah, obviously you can mess around with how intense the repeats are. You can always get crazy sounds when you mess around with anything pertaining to time on a delay setting, or rather on a delay module. It really freaks out the tone. And you usually get these weird sorts of artifacts. So now let's take a look at that hippie elephant reverb. This is a pretty cool and mysterious effect. The tremolo on there, I think, is what makes it pretty unique. That's obviously not something you find in every reverb you come across. Now, the freeze button is pretty cool because basically when you freeze it, it takes a little sample of your tone and it kind of just turns that into a texture. Let's try something like, give me a clean, sparkling, lo-fi Mac DeMarco sound. Adjusted the chain for a cleaner Jangle-inspired sound. I reduced the cassette warble and noise, increased the chorus, and smoothed out the reverb for a sparklier feel. I mean, I like the sound of that. Let's see what that does. I mean, that's cool, but too much delay. I think we're still getting some delay from this Echoplex-inspired effect. Yeah, it's a little more what I was looking for. Bring up the intensity a little bit of the chorus. And maybe bring down the reverb a little bit. We've got that granular reverb still. Very cool sound. It's just a reverb that has an inherent texture to it. Obviously not all reverbs do that. I think that brings a little of that lo-fi sound and something very cool you can do with the Meaw chain. Let's put it on the stereo out and maybe it can come up with a mastering chain for us. Give me a warm analog mastering chain, please. So let's see what this does. Oh yeah. It's just that extra little step. It makes it sound higher fidelity a lot of the time. Even though this is supposed to be like a analog sounding mastering chain, it still elevates anything from just this is a guitar signal and this is a guitar tone to, oh, this is a guitar tone. You know what I mean? So yeah, drag and EQ, Makes a lot of sense to have EQ as the first thing in your mastering chain. It's very common on a stereo out to EQ things further. Can add cohesion if you have multiple tracks, of course. And now we've got Gnome's mastering console. I'm pretty sure this is based on the founder of Safari Audio's mastering setup, and I think his name is Gnome, so it kind of makes sense, right? Yeah, I think this is a really nice sounding mastering console. Obviously great for an analog tone to bring that saturation in there. And yeah, this has that classic Baxandall EQ curve. There's the Lion Master, which basically is like a limiting plugin, which is a nice thing to put at the end. Well, that was fun. I'm always learning. I'm a lifelong student, but if I were at the point when I was just getting into production and trying to understand how to create an effect chain, what exactly a plugin or guitar pedal does to an audio signal, Meaw Chain would have been such a cool plugin for me to build confidence in making creative decisions and all of that great stuff. And I can even see myself now finding fun ways to use it to help if stuck in a creative rut or if I'm looking to build a mastering chain. Thank you so much to Safari Audio for supporting this video. I love the plugins they make, and I really respect how they're always trying to push things forward by making new and exciting tools for musicians. The link is down below if you want to check out the Meaw Chain or any plugin I used in this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Thank you for watching, and as always, if you like this video, please refrain from subscribing. I'm trying to become the least subscribed person on YouTube. Thanks, bye.